Optionally, you can also change the configuration settings of the clusters. For instance, if a cluster has the status "the cluster needs to be recreated" or "pending configuration", you can change the VPC in the environment settings. Let's take a look to the production environment. If you change the VPC, the cluster status will switch to pending configuration. And as you can see, a cluster in pending configuration status is also highlighted in red color in the Solution Manager catalog tree. However, for this example, I will need to keep the same VPC to successfully get the cluster created. So when a cluster is in pending configuration status, you must review the cluster configuration and change what you need. For example, if you have changed the VPC of the environment, you need to set it as a subnet belonging to the VPC selected. Continuing with this example, I keep the same subnet, the public O1. Now, at this step, I could also edit the rest of the cluster settings. However, I will keep them as they are. Once you have filled the cluster screen with the desired values, save the changes and set the Recreate Now option in the dialog to recreate the cluster with the new configuration. When the cluster is completely created, click on the Denodo logo on the top left to go back to My Applications. This area provides a single point of entry to all the Denodo web applications for all the environments of your organization. Now, if we select an environment with a cluster already created, we will see the links to access the Design Studio and Schedule modules. Note that the Elastic Load Balancers of AWS take some time to validate the instances before routing traffic to them. Therefore, you may need to wait a few minutes before accessing the new cluster. In this screen, you can also find links to the Denodo platform documentation, along with links to videos, tutorials, and the Denodo knowledge base. Now, we will check the connection to the production BDP server through the Design Studio by clicking on the corresponding link. For this example, we will use the default admin user and password, but don't forget to change its password the first time you log in with this user. Finally, as you can see, we have successfully logged in to the production BDP server through the Design Studio web tool. That's all for this video series about the Denodo standard for AWS. Please register for the 30-day trial version by using the link shown here. If you have any questions regarding marketplace deployment, please do not hesitate to reach out to us by sending an email to cloud.solutions@denodo.com. Thanks for watching.